Now I am going to write Coulomb's law with the position vector notation, but in a quite generalized way. Now actually I am going to write Coulomb's law for so many charges, because in practical problems we do not have two charges. We may have a lot of source charges. One thing I would like to mention that the coordinate of the source charges may vary, but coordinate of the test charge must be fixed. Suppose this Q1 is a source charge and source is located at R prime. This is Q2 charge, this is test charge, and its location is R. R is fixed and their distance is denoted by this R minus R prime. Now the unit vector associated with this direction is the vector R minus R prime itself divided by R minus R prime magnitude. And as there is an R square, R is the magnitude of the separation distance between them, and magnitude of separation here is R minus R prime. So in the denominator we must have R minus R prime square, but as I am writing the unit vector, so the R minus R prime of the denominator of the unit vector makes this to the power 3. Now let us write the superposition of Coulomb forces. Actually this is going to be the superposition of all the forces by a lot of source charges on a particular test charge. Suppose there are n number of source charges, so we need to calculate the force between Q1 and Qt, between Q2 and Qt. Qt is the test charge, between Q3 and Qt. Then we need to make a sum of all these forces, and this is called the superposition of forces. This is the resultant of all the forces. This superposition of forces is actually the algebraic sum of all the Coulomb forces between any two pair of charges. As we have a lot of source charges, this summation is done over J. This J can run from 1 to n, but as the summation sign is here, we must take into account of the fact that then this charge distribution is discrete. If there is an integration sign, then the charge distribution must be continuous. This is a sample. This is the Coulomb force between the source charge, jth source charge, and the test charge Qt. Let's have a very brief discussion about line, surface and volume elements. Suppose I have a 2D coordinate system. This is x direction, this is y direction. Intersection of these two axes gives us the origin. Let us take this length dx. What is this? By taking dx, I have taken actually a vector along this x direction, and the end of the vector is here and starting point of the vector is here. That is, the head of the vector lies along x direction and the tail of the vector is at O. So if I take this length as dlx, because this dlx is the line element along x direction. So magnitude of this dlx is dx and it is along x direction. So dlx vector must be written as dx into x cap. Similarly, I can go vertically upward and can draw a vector and can say that the length of this vector is dy. So this is a line element dly along the y direction and dly is written like this. Now if I join this O and P point, that is the initial and the final point, then I will get this dl vector, which is the which can be resolved into x and y component, and its x and y components are written like this. In place of dx x cap I am writing this, in place of dy y cap I am writing this, where magnitude of this dl vector is nothing but dx square plus dy square to the power half. Now what if we have a surface element? To have a surface element we need 3 axes. We are switching over here from 2D to 3D to denote a surface. Suppose for the time being I am taking this cuboid as my surface. This looks somewhat similar like this. Now if I want to calculate the area of this surface, first we need to make a choice of the coordinate system. This is x direction, this is y direction, this is z direction. So if I want to take this surface, we can easily see that along this surface y varies and z varies. So this is dy dz plane. So area of this plane is dy dz, because dy varies along this direction, dz varying along this direction, and direction of this surface, if we call this front face, direction of this front face is along this direction, which is coming outward of this surface. So in this direction x increases, in this direction x increases, so this is positive x cap direction. So if I call the area of that front surface to be dsx, I will write the area as dy dz. This is the magnitude of the area and this gives us the direction of the area. Similarly, I can also denote the areas of other faces along y and z direction. And if I want to write the volume element, it's simply dx dy dz, and it is a scalar quantity.